Hey guys, welcome to General Chemistry. Today I'm going to introduce you to chemical bonds. So we're going to talk about the different types of chemical bonds, how to quickly classify what type of chemical bond it is, before we move on to the more detailed information about them. So for students that are in my course, here is our path through Chapter 4. I've split it up into two different modules for you guys. So the first module is going to be Introduction to Chemical Bonds, Ionic Covalent, and naming them. And then the second half, or the next module that you'll do, we're going to talk about three-dimensional structures and then all their properties that go with that. So this video is just going to be an introduction to set you guys up for the next three sections. So bonding models. Bonding theories or models predict how atoms form into molecules. So atoms, based on their electrons, valence electrons, are going to come together. They're going to form different types of compounds. And we'll be able to predict how those atoms bond together. Are they sharing? Are they stealing? Are they mixing them all together? We'll be able to explain the physical and chemical properties. So we observe these certain properties, and then we can relate that back to the electrons. And then by the very end of this chapter, we'll be able to predict and explain shapes. So why is water always drawn as kind of a bent molecule, and carbon dioxide is a straight across? They both have three atoms. What would be the difference? So we'll be able to understand and explain that. So chemical bonds, what are they? You hear that term a lot, but has anyone broke it down for you? Compounds, are composed of atoms held together by chemical bonds. There's three types of chemical bonds. There's going to be ionic, covalent, and metallic. For my course, we are going to cover ionic and covalent. We don't really touch much on metallic, but it exists, and other instructors will talk about it. But we're going to stick with ionic and covalent. So a chemical bond is the sharing or transfer of electrons to obtain a stable electron configuration. Everything about chemistry is about stability. What can I do to lower my energy and to become more stable? Who has the most stable electron configuration? Who are the cool kids at the periodic table? The noble gases. Yeah. So these guys are either going to share or transfer electrons so that their electron configuration looks like that of the noble gases. All right. What's their first two words in that definition? Share or transfer. That delineates the two different types of bonds. Ionic bond is going to be the transfer. Covalent bond is going to be the share. So in an ionic bond, we're giving and stealing and taking. In a covalent bond, we are sharing with one another. All right, so ionic. We know that electrons are transferred. We know that they're going to steal or they're going to steal or take or give or receive. So ionic bond, electrons are transferred. And who participates in an ionic bond? A metal and a non-metal. So a metal, remember, is going to be the left-hand side of our periodic table. Non-metal is going to be the right-hand side of our periodic table. So when a metal interacts with a non-metal, there's going to be a transfer of an electron. Somebody's going to take one. Somebody's going to give one away. Covalent bonds are going to be a non-metal bound to another non-metal. In this case, electrons will be shared. So remember I told you guys there's that teeny tiny little piece of the periodic table that is non-metals, but it has a huge chemistry. So that teeny tiny portion with a huge chemistry, those are all going to covalently bond together. So that's our covalent bonds. I did not talk about metallic, but I think you can deduce what a metallic bond is. So metallic bond is a metal bound to a metal. And actually the electrons are pooled. It's kind of funky. But that's a metallic bond, metal and metal. So that's your introduction to ionic and covalent. From here, you'll need to be able to quickly identify, is it ionic, metal and non-metal? Is it covalent, non-metal, non-metal? And then start down the path of, okay, are electrons shared or electrons transferred? So make sure you have that skill nailed down. Hope you guys found this helpful.